Hello classmates! Welcome to the third episode of Pulot Aral. And this time around, we will be discussing something that is very controversial and we will get lessons from it, which is about politics. Recently, there is a bill that became a law and signed by our President Rodrigo Duterte. And this is the anti-terrorism law. What are the main concerns of this law? Is it going to be really abused and can be used against human rights? Is there really something to fear on this anti-terrorism law? Is there really grounds for us to go against this? Or is it just political machinations of the oppositions to just be against the government? Or those who have hidden agenda why they don't want for this law to pass. So, mga kaklase, join me as we briefly give you a background of this law and what are the lessons we are going to get out of this controversy. Mga kaklase, ako po personally ay apolitical. Hindi po ako mahilig makipagdiskusyon tungkol sa politics because nire-respeto ko po ang bawat opinyon ng bawat tao. Meron po akong opinyon, meron din po kayong opinyon. However, sa isang law, ito ay magiging malaking parte ng ating buhay, lalo na sa kontrobersyang umiingay ngayon, which is the anti-terrorism bill. Bago po ako mag-comment sa personal kong pananaw sa batas na ito, let's discuss first what is really anti-terrorism law. Mga kaklase, what is really the Anti-Terror Bill or now Anti-Terrorism Act of 2020? This is based on the guidelines and standards set by the United Nations Security Council's Resolution 1373. It was actually the UN that prodded the Philippines to strengthen its laws against terrorism. The Anti-Terrorism Act of 2020, officially designated as Republic Act 11479, is a Philippine law whose stated intent is to prevent, prohibit, and penalize terrorism in the Philippines. The law was signed by President Rodrigo Duterte on July 3, 2020 and effectively replaced the Human Security Act of 2007. So, is there really a need for anti-terrorism law? One, it seems the Human Security Act of 2007 is ineffective. Since it became a law, only one terrorist got punished by this law. This law was signed by President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. And since then, instead of the number of terrorists in our country went down, it even went up. Second, the Philippines is considered number 9 in terms of the number of terrorists in the country under the 2019 Global Terrorism Index. Again mga kaklase, I will place the URL on the description so you can download this report. Third, alam niyo po na ang peace and security ng isang bansa also affects the economic standing for investment as well as the social state of its citizen.
He thinks that he's going over there to fight against injustice. He thinks he's going over there to join a noble cause. He thinks he's going over there to establish this pure Islamic state, but actually he's going over there to join a bunch of thugs, brutes, and criminals.
Now mga kaklase, I will show you a short clip to honor the 11 soldiers that were killed on April 17, 2020. Gusto ko pong bigyan sila ng pugay sa pagsakripisyo ng kanilang buhay para po maproteksyonan tayo at mapanatili ang peace and order sa ating bansa. Mga kaklase, let us all join together in prayers and in salute to the 11 soldiers who were killed to protect us. Mga kaklase, pag-usapan natin ang pros and cons na sinasabi ng pro at against sa anti-terrorism law. Ang against po, sinasabi nila, bakit sa lahat naman ng panahon, ngayong pang may pandemic, ginawa ang anti-terrorism law? Ito po naman po ang mga sagot ng pro sa anti-terrorism bill. Ang bill started in the discussion at the House of Representatives long before the pandemic, which started around October 2018. It passed in the Senate on February 26, 2020. A total of 173 legislators voted affirmative with 31 members opposing and 29 abstaining. Terrorists don't take a break just because of a virus. And this is the sample that they stated. The Philippines has experienced terrorism for more or less 44 years, which started on April 7, 1976, when three Moro National Liberation Front or MNLF members hijacked Philippine Airlines BAC 111 jetliner from the southern Philippines and ordered it flown to Libya. Until this very day, even in the midst of deadly pandemic, the country is continuously being tormented by the scourge of terrorist attacks coming from, but not limited to, the Mawate Group, ASG, BIFF, and even the NPA. On May 27, 2020, 6,000 residents of Maguindanao had to abandon their homes because of terrorist attacks. And on June 5, the AFP lost 4 more soldiers while 17 others were injured in another military encounter with members of the ASG in Sitio Lagaron in Barangay Canagüe, Paticol, Sulu. Likewise, from the IPAC, on March 27, MIT leader Ali Calora attacked a group of police officers on motorcycles as they were transporting food supplies in the central Sulawesi district of Poso. No one was killed, but the police were forced to flee and left behind their motorcycles, including the food that was supposed to be given for those people in need of it. Second, ang mga against po, ang sabi, this is against human rights. Kasi po, ang sabi nila, doon sa law, pwedeng warrantless arrest. Ano po ang sinasabi ng mga pro sa mga against tungkol dito sa warrantless arrest? Sa totoo lang po, meron na pong mga batas na talagang makakapag-issue ng warrantless arrest. Example po, kapag ikaw ay nahuli habang ginagawa mo ang krimen, pwede kang hulihin ng walang warrant. Second, dito po sa law na to, kapag ikaw ay naaresto, ang mga police officer po na nasa frontline must immediately inform a nearest judge regarding the arrest. Third po, the level of crime is different from other crimes. What the law intends is to prevent further destruction and unnecessary damages to people and property before the crime even occurs. Mga kaklase, ang mga terorista po ay napakahirap tugisin. Bakit po? Kasi po, nauuna po ang kanilang mga plano bago po nila ito gawin. Yan po ang nakita natin nung nangyari ang 9/11. Wala pong nakaalam na pasasabugin ang isang eroplano sa isang building sa New York. Ang mga terorista po ay nahuhubog na kung paano po makagawa ng terror against sa mga tao para ibagsak kung sino man ang gusto nilang ibagsak, and most of the time, ito ang gobyerno para sa ganun sila ang mamuno. Ang tanong ko po sa inyo po mga kaklase, gusto nyo po bang sila ang manalo? May mga terorista po na maaaring hindi nagdadala ng baril at basuka, pero ang ginagawa po nila, sila po ang nagkakapital para po ang mga teroristang ito ay magulo ang ating buhay at sila ang maghari-harian sa ating bansa. Marami pong tao na may pansariling kagustuhan upang makontrol ang ating ekonomiya, ang ating bayan, at ang mga taong nakatira dito. Kasama po ako doon, kasama po kayo doon. So, ang main puntos ng anti-terrorism bill is to prevent these terrorists as well as parties who plan and instigate this kind of terrorism before it even happens. Ang susunod naman po na example against human rights according sa mga against is the detention of 14 days and can be extended up to 10 days. Ang sagot po ng mga pro dito sa anti-terrorism law is this. Actually, ang Pilipinas followed the most lenient detention applied by other countries which are Sri Lanka and Australia. And this is the 14 days detention. This can be extended up to 10 days. Mga kaklase, sa ibang bansa, actually, much stiffer ang number of days of detention nila. Sa Malaysia po, 59 days up to 2 years. Sa Indonesia, 21 to 120 days. And sa Singapore, 730 days to indefinite. Ang susunod po na sinasabi ng mga against sa anti-terrorism bill is red tagging and branding. Ito po ang sagot ng mga pro. 1. The accused still have the rights to defend himself or herself in the court of law. Hindi po ibig sabihin na sinususpecha kayo na bilang terrorist ay automatic makukulong kayo nang walang karapatang idependa ang inyong sarili. Hindi po ganon nakasulat ang batas na ito. Pangalawa, there is an anti-terrorism council. Now, ito pong anti-terrorism council has no judicial or quasi-judicial power. Ano po ang ibig sabihin nun? Hindi po sila ang judge para magbigay ng karapatang parusa o magpakulong sa kung sino mang sinususpetsahan na terrorist. Sila po ay purely administrative body to issue freezing order for its assets under Anti-Money Laundering Council. Mga kaklase, maging makatotohanan po tayo. Halos lahat po ng bagay dito sa mundo ay gumagalaw kapag may pera. Ang mga terorista po, hindi rin po yan mabubuhay ng walang pera. Kaya po, minsan, ang isang terorista ay hindi yung tipikal na nakikita natin sa TV na nakusuot ng bandana at may hawak na Armalite. Merong pong mga tao na terorista dahil sila po ang nangangapital para ito pong mga taong willing pumatay at gumulo sa katahimikan natin ay magwagi. Kasi po may intensyon silang iba para kontrolin ang ating bansa. Huwag po tayong magpabola sa mga taong maaaring may sariling agenda kung bakit nila ginagawa to. Kaya po, napaka-importante sa isang bansa na magkaroon ng pangil para maproteksyonan ang kanyang mga tao. Now, ang susunod po na sinasabi nila is activist to terrorist. Once designated, the suspected terrorist can now be arrested upon under order of the ATC. Now, ito po ang sagot sa tanong na ito. On Section 25 of the ATB, designation is defined under the bill as purely administrative process intended to trigger the issuance of a freeze order by the Anti-Money Laundering Council, not even the ATC, which, by the way, is already provisioned under Republic Act 10168 or the Terrorism Financing Prevention and Suppression Act of 2012. There was no single mention of the word arrest is found in Section 25 of the ATB. Ito po ang sagot ni Senator Pamphilo Lacson, isa po sa mga nag-author ng anti-terrorism bill. According sa mga against, there is a freedom of speech suppression. Ang sagot po naman ng mga pro, if there is a suppression of speech, then all those who are against will not be anymore able to rally, talk, post, and write anything against the government. Terrorist groups like IS are quick to prey on those who have been marginalized and promote their extremist cause as an us versus them narrative. Their radicalization efforts are vastly done through the internet and social media sites, which eases the spreading of their ideology. Ito po ay marami ng balita na ang mga terorista ay hinihikayat ang mga bata para sumali sa kanila. Minamanipula ang kanilang mga kaisipan para mag-join sa kanila at iiwan ang kanilang mga magulang, pamilya, kasama na ang kanilang future. Another point po ng mga against sa law na to is that the law may be abused. According po sa mga pro, ay ito ang kanilang sagot. All laws can be abused, even the most benign laws. There's an existence of elements necessary to fulfill in order for one be prosecuted under this anti-terrorism bill. 1. The purpose of such act and context of its intent. Second, the Bill of Rights is still recognized under the law. The fear being promoted that a law can be abused is less significant in comparison to the people suffering from the actions of these terrorists, such as children who are being convinced to be rebels and create havoc against the government instead of studying, the women who get raped and used by these terrorists, innocent people, and other heinous crimes that they do in order to achieve their goals to spread their terror and overthrow the government. Classmates, in the Fashion of Pulot Aral channel, we must provide lesson out of this issue. But before I do that, I would like to ask for your support and subscribe on this channel so that I can, as soon as possible, achieve my goal in supporting persons with disability. Sana po matulungan niyo ako sa adhikain nitong channel na ito. If you like this topic or you agree with me, please give me a thumbs up. If you don't, then you can give me a thumbs down. But do like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for support. So, what is the lesson that I've got from this issue? I got a quote from Mr. Philip Dick. The basic tool for the manipulation of reality is the manipulation of words. If you can control the meaning of words, you can control the people who must use the words. Alam nyo mga kaklase, napakadali pong manipulahin ang mga tao, lalo na kapag ito ay tinatakot. Personally po, ako po ay hindi bumoto sa ating current na Pangulo. Kaya lang po, personal ko rin pong nasaksihan ang mga kagalingan na nagawa niya sa ating bansa. Kaya po, para po sa akin, bago po tayo maniwala sa mga salita na ating nadidinig, especially po mga pananakot na mawawalan tayo na karapatang pantao, na tayo ay makukulong kahit tayo ay nagrarally lamang o we are going against certain principles na pwede na tayong mabiktima at tawaging terorista. Bago tayo makinig at maniwala sa mga taong against dito, basahin niyo muna po ang law. At kahit na po hindi kayo ganong kagalingan sa law, napakaliwanag po ng law kung ano po ang mga safeties na nilagay ng ating mga mambabatas para hindi po ito maabuso. Ito po, majority, ay nagfa-follow ng Bill of Rights at pwede nyo pong ipagtanggol ang inyong sarili kung sakali mang ma-accuse kayo na terorista. Kaya bago po tayo nagpapaniwala sa kahit kanino, including sa akin po, basahin po muna natin yung law. I will place in the description below the complete anti-terrorism law so that you can read it and try to understand the law before we make any opinions or comments about it. And then judge for yourself if this law will truly curtail our freedom of speech and will be against human rights. Dito po nagtatapos ang Pulot Aral Politics. Sana naman po panoorin nyo ang next kong episode na Pulot Aral Career. Marami pong salamat sa inyong suporta and please do comment below on what you think about this anti-terrorism bill. Thank you po at God bless. Bye-bye!